Yanks of the Roundtable. Very special episode we're recording today. Got our usual suspects here with me. We got Austin Forbes, got Maxi Gaming, got Barca Boy 103, all here with me for the final video of 2024. Guys, if you've tuned in, if you've liked, subscribed, engaged with us at all, we appreciate you. And look, man, we got one more banger to kind of leave 2024 with and head into 2025. For today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 10 Premier League players of the 2024 calendar year. Okay, so not this season, not last season. Again, the calendar year of 2024. These picks are interesting. I've already looked at them. All right, we've already submitted all these picks. Everyone on your screen, a couple wild cards all mixed in, but they've all submitted their individual top 10s. We're going to do some exposing on the show today. All right, we're going to see how this goes. It's going to be a good time, man. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited. All right, let's jump right in. Waste no more time. Number 10, big reveal. Number 10. It is a tie, by the way. So keep that in mind, okay? Number 10. Bryan Mbeumo and Martin Odegaard. This is blasphemous shit. The fact that I'm nothing against Mbeumo. I would take him at Arsenal for sure as like a rotational piece, someone that could spark them off the bench, but ain't no shot he's tied with Odegaard.
That's Hoffman. He's laughing.
It's not Hoffman.
It's not Hoffman.
I didn't have Bryan Mbeumo.
Austin, I need you to let everybody know where you had Mbeumo ranked in your list.
I may have had him sixth.
Oh my god,
bro.
Oh my god.
I need you to justify this because I know Brentford looked good at home this year. Last season in the run in, I think they were decent. But bro, Mbeumo is Mbeumo in anybody's top 10?
No, not even close.
Like top 20?
No,
Maybe, possibly, could be.
No, I don't think so.
Austin, let's hear it, bro. What's the thought process?
I think a little bit. I put him up here a little bit to give him a little bit of a shout out because he's been like he's been their only guy. Like he had to step in for Tony, which we thought Tony would leave, but not what happened. He's basically had Wissa not there most of the time, so he's been by himself. He's got a decent goals and assist tally. He's got 12 goals, 6 assists, I think. He's a really good defender. He has I think it was 70 possessions won in the attacking third, which is nuts. Like to me, he's got 4 goals and an assist in 4 games against teams in Europe, which is, there's a lot of really good players that don't have that. And I just think he's had a really good year for a team, and he's the only guy. Like he's really been their only consistent attacking threat, and probably the reason they stayed up last season, and the reason they're where they're at this season.
Yeah, guys, 10 goals and 2 assists to kick off the year is no joke. I'll give him that. In the window, I would definitely take Mbeumo. 100%. Like, we didn't get anybody else at Arsenal. Fuck it, bro.
He was also hurt a lot in the beginning of the calendar year. Like, he's only played 28 games in the calendar year. So.
Okay. Fair enough. But I think also that's maybe also another knock against him when you just compare him to all the other players that we could pick for this spot. The only other guys that had Odegaard were myself and Hoffman. But I had him kind of low. I had him 9th.
I had him 8th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm quite surprised none of y'all. I thought Odegaard was a unanimous.
I thought
selection.
So too. Yeah, but we're the only ones.
I left him out just because
I had 2 Arsenal guys on there. I couldn't do it.
I have 3,
I don't think he deserved it anyway.
I think Odegaard
didn't deserve it, bro. He came back from injury 11 games in a row. We haven't lost.
I think Odegaard deserves to be in this list ahead of Bryan Mbeumo.
What's that?
So I think Odegaard deserves to be on this list ahead of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely at least 10, 11 ish. Yeah. 12-ish for me.
It's rough, bro. But hey, like I said, what put in Mbeumo here was that this dude. If you have him on your list at 10, I'm not mad at you, Austin. Having him at 6 is fucking.
Having him at 6 is pretty.
I feel like
line, bro.
I went a little haywire.
I'm scared of the rest of your list.
Just for the record, I went a little haywire.
This man watched his comp on YouTube and then put the rankings up. Like, fuck it, let's just throw it in there.
That's actually not what I went by.
I think we were gonna expose ourselves as being idiots.
I will tell y'all after what I went by. But
all right, actually, that's a fair point by Hoffman. All right, we'll move on. But we have a tie here based on points, but I think based on picks, Odegaard should probably edge that out.
I think
Either way, though,
the fact that only half of us had Odegaard's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Put some respect on Martin Odegaard's name. Arsenal fans, let him know down in the comments below, man. All right, let's jump into number 9. This one wasn't on my list, and maybe that's a hot take, but this one wasn't on my list. Number 9.
Who else had Son apart from me? Austin. He was kind of my Brian Mbeumo shout in the sense that I thought there's like a good. He's my 10th. I had like a solid 8 or 9, I think, were guarantees, which clearly are not guarantees because you two didn't have Odegaard. And then I just needed one more to finish the list. I picked Son just because I really, really value consistency. And I think he's been very consistent for Spurs this season when he has played. I think this season he has already 12 goals contribution. We all know how disgustingly crap Spurs are and how disgustingly inconsistent the team is as a whole. But he's the one that's mainly consistent. And I think he's a good player as well. I think personally over the course of 2024, this might be a hot take. I don't know. I think he has been better than Brian Mbeumo. So that's why take. That's why I have him I think he's just like my 10th pick just to throw in there as a little low key shout, a little recognition. That's it. I'm not dying on the humans on the hill.
Do you think he's been more impactful for Spurs than Mbeumo has been for Brentford?
Impactful, no.
Yes.
You think
yes. Like he had to play striker, he had to play 10, he had to play left wing. He had to deal with half a season with Richarlison up front. So basically, he had to deal with half a season with no one up front. Madison's been in and out.
I think the reason why is that Spurs have other quality around them where they can rely on that, where Brentford just really have, especially with Tony being out for half the season. In that half where he did come back, he wasn't that great. It kind of Brentford just look at Mbeumo, where Spurs can look at other options, but they rely on Son on the ball, off the ball, in transition, moving forward, creating chances. So I don't think if you take Son out of that, yes, you will miss him, but then there will be a greater impact if you remove Bremo from Brentford than Son from Spurs.
Well, I think this half of the year, so this half of the season, he's been less impactful than he was the first half. Because I think the first half they did have Son. Because they did have Solanke. They did Brennan Johnson was kind of in there, but not really. He was their guy in the 23-24 half.
Yeah, but I still think he still has 13 GAs so far in the Premier League this season.
He's got 21. I think he's got 20 goals and assists this calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so. Which puts him shy of guys like Kai Havertz, for example. Yeah. But
you look at the guys around
on this list.
No, I don't think. If anybody put Kai Havertz, bro. If anybody at home has Kai Havertz on their list,
I did not go that.
You could argue maybe you could put Kai as your 10th spot, like I put for Son. You could make that argument. I wouldn't.
But it's solely on production. It is not that Kai doesn't do there's a lot of things he does with the eye test, but when you compare him to the top players in the Prem, it's really based on production. That's like the shining light there.
But also having Son and Mbeumo is a bit sus. I'm not gonna lie.
Austin.
I told y'all I went haywire.
Homie went rogue. That's
not haywire. This is worse.
I did not have Son. I'm still kind of pissed at that miss he had against City when he could have actually potentially won Arsenal the title. That shit still lives rent free in my head. But I think he's good. Maybe I'm comparing.
I'll compare your 10th selection to Son. So whoever you had in 10, maybe we'll find out later at the end. Compare that to Son. You think maybe they're close? And I guess I hit decent nail on the head. That's all that I was with myself.
Yeah, fair enough. So we had 2 guys pick Son. Obviously, Austin maybe valued him a little bit more, but he's in there. So number 9.
Where'd you have him, Austin?
I may have had him 5th.
That's crazy. My God. That's crazy,
bro. When I saw Austin's list, I was like, I wanted to respond and be like, is this your actual list? And then I was like, you know what? I just gave him a thumbs up. So I was like, let's just save it for the show.
Because here's my thing. There's 3 guys. Y'all are going to have a lot of guys. I wanted to give some guys some shout outs.
This is not a shout out, Austin. This is just playing crazy. I was like 8th, 9th, maybe 10th.
I had 5 guys in there that I think should at least get a shout, and maybe we get higher on the list.
I'm trying to wonder who are the 5 players you have underneath Son now. My God.
Maybe like I said, maybe he knew this all being aggregated, so maybe again he was kind of just giving them some extra love, so they would actually have a shot at making the list, right?
Yeah,
that's so crazy. That's crazy.
That's literally
somewhat collusion, a little bit in my opinion, but it's fine.
I have 5 guys that I think are 4 guys that are top 4, and the rest are a little haywire, and because they're going to get aggregated. So
fair enough. All right, well, let's move on to number 8. This one to me, I think is pretty clear cut. I will say only 2 of us had this man. It's not looking good for us so far, guys. I will say that. It's not looking great. Only 2 of us had this guy, but to me, he was clear cut. Number 8, Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, lads. No. Who didn't have him?
I went attacker heavy.
Okay.
I will admit that.
Austin and Max did not have him.
I had a different person.
Oh my god.
I think a little bit like, I mean,
I didn't like Virgil the second half of the last season.
That's fair. My pick is heavily on this half of the season.
Their defense was shite besides him. You remember who he was lining up with, right? Like, he didn't really have a ton of pieces.
He's out there chatting to OnlyFans models half the time on Instagram.
I did not like the second half of the season last year.
Bro, he had Simica. There were times he had Simicas, Joe Gomez, and Connor Bradley out there with him. Nothing against those players, right? But it's just like other center backs.
I just think he hasn't been what he used to be. I mean, he's still really good.
But you can make that same argument for Heung-min Son.
Oh, I can. But, I didn't. But, I mean.
You're right. You did more than that.
You did more than that.
I had Van Dijk on my list 4th. The reason being is that I think if I was to judge it based on the first half of 2024, I probably would have had him like 8th-ish.
But you have to. Half, it's 2024.
Yeah, I'm finishing. So second half of the
you just said if I would base it off of first half, but you have
he means the first half of the 23-24 season. That's what he means, right?
Yeah,
that wouldn't make any sense because this is only 2024.
Yeah, so the first half of 2024 was still last season, is my point. So we have to judge half of the calendar year on our TOs.
Yeah, but only the second half of the season.
Only the second half of the season.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, proceed with the point.
So on the first half of 2024, I would have had Van Dijk around 8. I think he had a few mistakes in him, and Liverpool still had a strong finish. But the second half of 2024, he's been, I think, the 3rd best player in the league, apart from Mo Salah. Maybe you could pick your poison out of the other couple of a bunch of players because he's been the most consistent player. He's conceded I think under 10 goals this season when he's been on the pitch for Liverpool, and he's an elite defender, and he's really convincing me to put him like best defender of all time in the Premier League. I'm not quite there yet, but he's making. He's up there. He's up there for sure, but he's making a very strong case, and I just think that
if he win, I mean they're more than likely going to win this year. But if he now has 2 Prem titles, like he's gonna have a really good argument.
I think he has a good argument right now based on ability. I think achievement is what's holding him out a little bit, especially where he started his career when he joined Liverpool. But he's just, if you were to build the most ideal center back, it's Van Dijk. I think only Gerard Piqué has the similar build to Van Dijk in the sense that you have a tall, athletic, strong, good on the ball defender. A lot of defenders have, a few of those things and not the other ones. And watching Van Dijk play, it's just like you just think no one's going to get past him. You think you'll need a moment of magic to get past him. That's how solid I think he's been. So I think it's a bit of the second half of 2024 bias from my perspective, but I do think he's been sensational.
Yeah, you had him 4th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, higher than I had him. I had him in 6th.
That's I wouldn't take that. I would say like 4th and 7th where he should be. And you got these two just don't have him in the list at all.
No, I was thinking about putting him in the list. I was like, nah, if I'm going to put another center back, I have another center back.
I know what other center back you're talking about. And I have him way lower in my list. But
I don't have him high, but I had him.
That's agenda, That's agenda.
I think Van Dijk has been better than the other person you're mentioning this whole entire 2024.
Yeah.
It's debatable.
It's definitely debatable.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's clear cut, but I think that Van Dijk, what he's done in this calendar year based on consistency and making Liverpool take that step up where the other player kind of not relies but expects other players around him to make him more so of a cohesional front foot, where Van Dijk's doing it alone a lot of the time, especially in the beginning half of this year. That's why I just want to give him the extra recognition, you could say.
But with that said, right, he like the results part of doing that alone, like, well, he was pretty decent. That's when the title chase for Liverpool fell off last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was just due to all of that. So yeah, I think Van Dijk's a hell of a defender. I think he's definitely going to go down as one of the best of all time. I'm really shocked Austin or Max didn't have him in here.
I almost had him in, but I was like, I'm a little bit more. I was gonna put him at 10, but I put someone.
I feel like Jose made like an actual list, and then they just kind of went a bit rogue and picked a bit of favorites.
I didn't go all.
I went like all attacking. So
no, fair enough. Well, look, let's keep the train rolling. Number seven, William Saliba. And
that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah. I think we all are talking about. I think Van Dijk and Saliba are the two best center backs in the league by far. I think Saliba, to me, I think he just at this point of his career, we all see the technical ability of this defender. He just needs to win something. I think that's kind of where he's at right now. To me, he's a young version of Virgil van Dijk. This is probably the ability maybe Virgil had stored away somewhere at Southampton, whatever. But this guy, dude, I haven't seen a single attacker get by Saliba. Like 1v1, I haven't seen it this season, and even going into last season. It's so difficult, man. He possesses those qualities you mentioned before, Hafid, all of them. Like he's got all of them in his locker.
The reason why I have Van Dijk ahead of him is that I've seen Saliba play when he doesn't have that same 3 to 4 defenders that he usually plays with, your Timbers, your Gabriels, your Ben Whites, and he doesn't look shaky, but he looks uncomfortable. Where I've seen Van Dijk play with, your Kwanzas, your Connor Bradley, Simikas, whoever.
That's a decade of experience, right? Like,
for sure.
I agree with you. Yeah. To an extent, I still think he does a pretty good job when guys like Gabriel aren't there. At least he does a good job. I'm not saying
it's a bad job whatsoever, but I sense that Arsenal will concede more if they don't have their natural back line, as opposed to when Liverpool don't have it. They just as long as Van Dijk is the common denominator, Liverpool still look like they keep a clean sheet week in, week out. Where Arsenal look a bit more vulnerable.
But that didn't happen in the beginning of this year. They had a terrible.
Yeah, they had an interesting run for sure. After the holidays when they were at the top, they kind of choked that. But I was going to say, like, I'd be curious to actually dig into that stat at some point, right? Like Saliba playing with other pieces in that back line and how successful or how many goals Arsenal concedes. Because I know for the calendar year of 2024, Arsenal didn't go a single game conceding more than 2 goals at any point in the calendar year. So I'm just curious to kind of see like where we were missing some pieces and how they performed. But yeah, I mean, we don't get scored
towards the end of the last season, if I can remember correctly, there was a stat where you guys kept a clean sheet for like 3 or 4 straight games going into the final games. Something from the end of February or March into April, and you guys were undefeated. So that's also. I mean, Saliba obviously with Gabriel back there, but Saliba has been one of the best center backs in the Premier League in the last 2 years.
One of the best in the world.
If he goes to Real Madrid, I'll fucking cry, bro. I'm not gonna lie. For multiple reasons, but yeah, that's the last guy you want to send that way. I honestly, I kind of hope it's Virgil if it's anybody. If anybody's gonna go, like fuck it, send the aging defender. I don't need 10 years of William Saliba there in Madrid. Fucking cry. Anyway, all right, guys. William Saliba, to me, if you had Virgil higher, just give me your argument down in the comments below, man. I'm really curious. I think that both these guys are Rolls-Royce defenders. One's just significantly earlier in their career, so. We'll see, man. We'll see. Definitely a top 10 player, though, both of those guys. All right, number 6, Phil Foden. And to me,
this motherfucker fumbled in the bag. Where did I have my mind?
I understand why he dropped it. Why he's 6. I had him a bit higher. I didn't have him number 1, mainly due to the fact that he did win PFA Player of the Year. So
that's exactly my point.
But he's done nothing since too.
So that's the
thing. Which is why he dropped.
I didn't have him.
Yeah,
because
Austin didn't have him on the list.
He's literally
absolutely insane.
That's ridiculous.
But then nothing in the second half of the season.
But it doesn't matter. He literally
was the best player in the first half of the season, though. First half of the year.
Yeah, but his second half of the year, like his early half of 2024, like his first half of 23-24 to me was better than the second.
Of course, the second he's been. I don't think he's played like more than 10 games since.
No. He's saying last season in the full season. So the second half of 2023, he was better than the first half of 2022.
No shot, because that man was scoring almost.
I think Haaland was scoring. Well, no, actually, he had a bad season last season, technically by his standards.
I think that Phil Foden is on this list purely based on how he did from January until June.
Yeah, pretty much.
If that wasn't there, he'd be nowhere near this list. The fact that he was the best player last season, voted the best player last season. I think he was our unanimous best player of last season on our panel too. And yes, his second half has been disgusting. It's been woeful. It's one of the biggest drop-offs I've seen in my football fan watching career. But you cannot take away what he did in that first half up until the Euros. He was exceptional. He was by far the best player in this league. I had him 7th in my list. So I guess 6 is a fair point. I think he should be definitely between B, 5th, and 10th. I think you have him anywhere there. It's completely valid. I think touching top 5 after what he did since August is not worthy whatsoever. But not having him in this list completely is blasphemous, to say the least.
So we had Max at the highest, having him in 3rd. I was
That's a bit too high.
I was the lowest, having him in 8th.
Actually, I was the lowest.
Oh yeah, sorry, Mac. Austin didn't even have him. Where is he in your top 20, Austin?
He's one of the I said before we came on, there's a player off the list that I have like sitting there that should be on. He's the guy, but I just left him off because it's going to get aggregated. So
yeah, just don't say it.
So guys, look, the Leicester City fan believes that Mbeumo is absolutely clear of Phil Foden.
I don't listen. I'm not gonna sit here and defend fucking City Phil Foden, but I would definitely love to drop them more. I just felt like someone winning Player of the Year and still not being like top 5 is
I can see your point, Max, but to debate to argue on the other side of that real quick, when you're in like let's say if you're just the whole year, right, from January until June, Phil Foden is probably number 1 if we're being honest.
But he's had 2 goal involvements this season.
Let me finish. But from August until December, he's like 200th. So you gotta like balance it out a little bit. That's why I think top 3 for him is undeserved. But I think if he did anything semi-decent from August until now, he'd probably be top 3.
Yeah.
The fact that he did that nothing.
He also missed like the first half of the season.
He's only played 14 games. But
fair enough. But like you also have to factor in the one thing we're not talking about is how well all these other top 5 guys have played. Some of these guys have played absolutely out of their fucking minds. And so when you compare it, right, the whole year, and they may not have won the title or won PFA Player of the Year, but like the aggregate performances across all of 2024 are enough to put them over.
If you go 1 the first half of the year, then go 200 compared to being 3rd, then maybe 2nd, it's gonna balance out to have the other player be higher than Foden because he is better throughout the whole year. Where it's like if you're in a race and you're first at the halfway mark, then you finish like 10th. What's the difference? At the end of the day, you were first in the first half of the race. That gives you no good once the end.
Law of averages.
Yeah.
I think Foden should be in this list no matter what. It doesn't really matter what you rank him. So Austin, another blasphemous fucking shout. But yeah, man.
More where that came from.
So anyway, guys, look, Philly Foden.
I'm trying to think this guy actually has Dream Justice number 1.
I don't know. I mean, bro, if we were,
I told you I wasn't dating Ward. I didn't say who.
I'm really curious to see where Foden ends up when we do our end of season, not end of year, but end of season awards and rankings.
On the list right now,
24-25. Yeah, Foden shouldn't be on anybody's fucking list for this season.
He won't
man.
be. Unless he goes crazy.
Yeah.
Unless he goes crazy in the new year. Crazy.
Unless he gets City back into a title charge through his production. Right, like
even then he won't. There's no way he gets top 5 for this like season.
I think he would if they get back into a title charge.
I think if he can win the title with City, he'll get top 5.
Damn, bro, that's
again. It'd
be crazy.
August and December, he's done squat.
I know, but if he digs himself out of that and has like literally the Player of the Year performances for 4 or 5 months on end, and they go on to win the title, I would.
For what other players are doing right
top
now,
3 for me.
What other players are doing right now, they also have to have a huge drop off too to give room for Foden to come into. Because if these players that are currently in the top 5 continue to keep going, I can't see Foden touching it.
Yeah, but if Foden goes in there and scores like 15 goals
in half a season, now we're kind of approaching some interesting territory. But
we're talking about the impossible here.
It'd be. I mean, honestly, bro, that would be a second half of the season campaign like I've never seen before in my life. So we'll see. We'll find out. But Foden right now, like I said, the fact that he's in this top 10 just shows you how good of a first half of 2024 this guy really had. All right, man. Number 5, Erling Haaland.
This is exactly where I had him.
Yeah, I had Haaland lower.
I actually had Haaland 5.
He's probably between 5 and 9th, I would say. Somewhere there. Maybe 4.
Yeah, Austin had him the highest. So I had this guy in 7th, actually.
And a little bit with him, it's due to his like I don't want to say aura. I can't think of a better word. But it's I
love that. He's because of his aura. Hell yeah.
But it's like you go in there and you expect him to have scored like 30 goals in a calendar year. He scored 27. Like
he got scored by Lewandowski, my goat.
Yeah, it's like he scored 27, which is still insane. Like, and I just think because of reputation, he's been brought down, and definitely because second half of the year, which kind of that's the whole City team. But I still think, like, I mean, 27 goals in a calendar year, I think is still the most.
He's still the top goal scorer of the Premier League till like last weekend when Mo Salah passed him.
Yeah,
which shows how much of a big leap he had from August and September. Because the difference between him,
also the drop off too, because Haaland had 10 goals in the first 5 games of this season, I think it was, and then like since then, bro, what have we seen? Like,
my argument for Haaland's the same thing as Foden, but just give Haaland an extra month or two. That's pretty much the difference.
Yeah, actually, it's not a bad show.
And I think still the knock on him is like he hasn't done it in a big game.
You guys all had
this whole year
for sure.
No, I mean he's had good games against big teams, but I'm just saying like he gets the majority of his goals like outside of that. What he scored. I mean, that's just
all his hat tricks are literally against like the lower levels.
Mid sides, yeah.
And I think that's the one knock on him. But
I remember triple captaining him against Ipswich. That was amazing.
I mean, 27 goals is 27 goals. Like,
yeah, it was. Again, the production's all there, 100%, and we know how good Haaland is. We all know. It's just like, that's first half of this season, man. Outside of the first 5 games, he hasn't really done anything, and it all contributes to City's fall off. But and last season too, in general, it was a down season, just like you said, by his standards. So
I don't know if I said it in the group chat, but like in the game against Leicester, there was 2 chances in the first half that I feel like Haaland on his A game buries it, and he missed it. Like he didn't even put it on target.
Well, we're at the point where Haaland's missed in PK, so
yeah,
that's actually very true. That was shocking against Pickford. Again, I don't like Pickford personally. Some people rate the hell out of him. Southgate clearly does. But
Sir Gareth Southgate, that is.
Oh yeah, Sir Gareth Southgate.
How the hell is he getting knighted, man? They're giving a knighthood to anyone nowadays. Then
nah, bro, I'm telling you, one of the best England managers in their country's history. So it
shows how low their expectations are.
Yeah, I mean,
make us believe it will knight you, bloody hell.
Yeah. But hey, he's now Sir Gareth Southgate. All right, let's go number 4. Number 4 in our top 10, Cole Jermaine.
This is just my list. Y'all giving me scared saying, "Oh, this list is crazy." This is just my list.
No, first off, it has been a little crazy already. But I will say, yeah, Hoffman had him the highest.
I'm third.
You guys are mad at me for
Virgil,
but this is one player that I know is not on this list that should 100% be on this list. But we'll
talk about the end. We'll talk about the end.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But
I'm just saying because we're approaching the top 3. So like now, I mean, obviously I know who the top 3 are, but like
this is my exact pick, number 4 at Cole Palmer.
I had him at 3.
I have him 3. I think you can have him anywhere between 2nd and 4th or 5th. It's just mainly due to his consistency. I understand he does not play the best against the top 6, but man's got like 40 GA or 50 GA this whole year, something like that.
40, I think.
I'm at 6 due to the fact that he just doesn't show up against
that. That's a bit crazy, but
not even just show up against Big 6, bro. Where has he been all month?
He hasn't played well.
He's had a bad
all December. He's honestly been shit.
And I think that's why
I don't think he's
knocked down a little bit.
But that's it.
That's why he's knocked down a little bit. I think it's because this last month he's been gone. But I mean, 39 or something goals and assists in a calendar year is kind of nuts.
I mean, I'm not going to complain, man. At the end of the day, I'm tired of seeing that cringy ass freezing celebration, bro. Like I don't rate that shit at all.
He's trying to trademark that. That's crazy.
Bro, it's just it doesn't
it's
look
funny.
like he's uncomfortable. He looks like he's severely uncomfortable when he does it. I'm like, bro,
he's just an awkward guy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
That's why it kind of works for him.
Yeah, it's just like it's weird. It's like someone's telling him to do it, and he's just doing it.
That's a perfect way of saying it.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, man, look, I can see a shout for 3. Honestly, I was very torn between Palmer and Haaland, and I think
I wasn't. I think Palmer had the clearly better year, even though Haaland won the league. I think we're judging it. I think when we get to like the top 5, you have to look at more than just winning the league title, where that will give you a big help in the conversation. You're judging it based on. This is mainly based on performance. I think the title.
You don't think his PR was just better? I think actually the second half of last season with what City did in their title charge, combined with Haaland.
But don't forget, Chelsea were like 10th at the beginning of January, and they got to the 6th. Right? They made a big. That late run. Yeah, under Poch. So
and they were in a title race until today.
Yeah.
Well, no.
They were never in
a couple games ago. And technically, they were never in a title race.
They were never in a title race. But yeah, he's had a good year. So, and he of course won PFA Young Player of the Year too. So
I have above Holland. He had 1 less goal and like 12 more assists. Of course, they play different positions, but that's literally the one reason I had him above.
And at the same time, as much as you guys talk about Bruno scoring penalties, a lot of his goals throughout the calendar year were penalty kicks. So I mean,
Cook.
Don't hate me for putting him at 6. I listen, Cole Palmer's a good player, but doesn't show up against top clubs on top of the fact that a lot of his goals came this year from penalty kicks.
Didn't even show up against Ipswich, bro.
And when the fact that when Bruno was doing it, he wasn't getting the same love. So,
well, I'm not blaming anyone on where they have guys because there's a guy in the top 3 I don't have on my list. So,
yeah, we're gonna find out here shortly. All right, man. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 on our top 10. My boy Bukayo Saka, who I think this is fair. I think this is 100% fair. This is exactly where I had him. Number 3. I think he's been the most consistent player for Arsenal for season over season now. He's the best player in this squad. I think it's in some ways it's close between him and Odegaard, but I think he is hands down consensus wise the best player in that squad. And yeah, man, his production's there. Like, he may not be the most aesthetically pleasing winger, but you can't argue the numbers. So
yeah, I had Palmer over Saka just because he won PFA Player of the Year. That was really the only thing separating it for me.
I had Saka too, but to me, he's Arsenal's most important player. I mean, yes, we've seen when Odegaard's out, but we've also rarely seen when Saka's out, and we're kind of going to see that a little bit going into 2025. But to me,
out for like 3 months, something that's crazy.
Yeah, I tore it. So.
Jose, you worried?
So
no. Jose, of course I'm worried, bro. Why would I not be worried? It's Saka. Like of course I'm worried.
Jose's praying for Arsenal to do something in the market. I told you guys.
That's what I'm praying for. I will not concede the title until I see what business we do in January.
How about the 6th best player in the Premier League in 2024?
Bro, shut the fuck up. Bro, I hate Austin's list. I'm going to say that right now. I fucking hate it.
I'm going to get roasted for
based on how this is gone, half of Austin and Max's list haven't made the top 10.
That's actually kind of true. I think
Jose and I have had the same list. Who's your like outside shout? We haven't heard it yet.
We haven't heard it yet. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to the honorable mention after this. I'm very surprised he didn't make it though. Like, me and Max had him, and I'm kind of shocked he didn't make anybody else's list.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Honestly, like.
He's such a good player. Like, I just don't get it. But again, we'll see how everybody rates him.
I think
all right, man, to me, Saka's short and sweet because, again, we all know how good he is. We don't have to talk in circles around this. All right, number 2. This is where it gets interesting. The Ballon d'Or winner, Rodri. So I think this one was interesting, but mainly because Austin just didn't have him on his list at all. So
I honestly. Okay.
We need we gotta stop this recording and just null and void Austin's whole list.
I am okay if you null and void my list. Like the bottom 5 get a little nuts, but
I think there's like 4 lesser players in his list now.
Now he is like by far the city's most important player. I mean, yes, he's Ballon d'Or winner. Like, I can't go against that. He did win that a little bit because of Spain and winning the Euros.
I would say he barely won that because of Spain. I don't think the Spain really had too much.
But I think it helped him win it.
I think people don't value the Spain thing as much because of the final. But like, if you watched, me and Hoff had watched almost every Spain game together, and like, dude, he was so good for Spain. It's insane.
I just think I just left him off really honestly to get some of these other guys in, and just basically because he's been hurt. Like, that's literally. So
pretty much Austin sacrificed his total list just to give Brian and Buemo a shout out. That's what it's really come down.
Oh no, there's other guys. No,
but they didn't make the top 10 list. So like, it's all we really heard was Brian and Buemo.
No, but we haven't heard the honorable mentions yet, guys. We have not heard the honorable mentions yet. So stick around to the very end of the episode, all right?
Honorable mentions is gonna be fucking fugazi.
It's about to be crazy, bro.
We're gonna get absolutely roasted on this video.
I had Rodri first because he won the Ballon d'Or. I understand.
I had him first too.
I would, if he played at all from August until December, I probably would have had Mo Salah first. I think he kind of bowed out in his peak, and then just City went to shit. And I think also City playing very poorly, everyone knowing the reason why it's because of Rodri. Just give him a bit of extra flowers. If he had the other 2 switch, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna die on that hill, but I give it to Rodri.
And here's the one thing against, like, yes, City don't have Rodri, and he kind of runs the show, but it's like they've had 4 months to figure it out without him.
That's just how good he is. They have no replacement for him.
That's how good he is. And we got Pep scratching the shit out of his head because he can't figure out what to do without Rodri.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people who say, like, oh, he hasn't played half the season, he shouldn't be number 1. Like, this City fall off is evident why he was also number 1 in my list too. It's hard to ignore his impact.
Who had Rodri 1?
I had him on.
3 of us, and Austin didn't have him, which put him into second. That's why he's in second.
Oh, okay.
So it's based off the aggregate, right? So now, right, we'll see number 1, which we all know, is Mohamed Salah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it came in. Austin had him the highest.
Though three of us don't think Mo Salah number one.
The three of us had him in second. And I think that this first half of the 24-25 season warrants it. The guy feels undeniable. Like you can't.
But that's like
having an off game, he finds a way.
I swear to God, bro, that's literally every second half of the season for Mo. Like come January into February, where it's usually almost time for
I'm banking on that
AFCON.
Christmas curse.
Towards AFCON, this man just falls off.
Well, that's the thing.
I swear to God, it happens every year.
It happened last season a little bit for sure.
Is there an AFCON this year? I don't think so because there was one last year.
No, it's the following year.
Yeah. So, and I think a little bit like he's played 31 games. He has an insane amount of goals and assists, mainly due to this season. He's gonna more than likely be the player this season, but he's just been unreal. Like to me, he's been the closest guy that I thought could break Vard's 11 games record. Like he's literally been like he's gonna score. Like
yeah, it feels that way.
You know what the closest he's got to? Like 9 or 8. Or
I think he got to 8.
Okay.
He got to 8, and the 11th game would have been against Leicester, but he didn't score against.
I swear that always happens with records. Like you're gonna beat the record against the player or against the team. Like I swear that
Vards did it. He broke Rude's record against
United. Yeah. It always happens. I feel like that's the thing about the beautiful sport. You always gotta line up to break records against whoever has it.
That's very true. I mean, look, I think that the interesting thing, right, with Salah is it's just is it just a production thing, right? Because right now on the timeline, because of what he's doing and the numbers are insane, we're now seeing all of these ridiculous comparisons, right, to wingers of the past who couldn't match the numbers. Comparisons to guys like who have we seen so far? We've seen Ian Robin, we've seen Hazard. We were just talking about one today.
Robin one's actually decent debate.
Yeah, I still think I'm taking Robin. If I'm being honest, like at their peak, I feel like Robin was.
That's the thing with Premier League fans. They just want to keep they just like to just bring up random stuff to keep their league in the loop because this league is just all over the place. And yes, Mo Salah is fantastic, and you can compare him to whoever. But the reality is that his prime is based on productivity and longevity. When really, if it comes to quality or not, that's where I think Mo Salah loses a lot of the debate. Not saying that he isn't quality, but he relies on being productive. That's the big difference maker is for him. Yeah.
So you think on ability, there's plenty of wingers who pass him.
And I think yes, Liverpool's been really good, but who have his wingers been lately? Like this season, like it's been Gakpo's played really well, and then it's like Darwin Nunez who is
but Jota had a good start to the season.
Yeah, Jota had a good start.
Luis Diaz has picked it up the second half.
He's been insane too, actually.
But it's like he still hasn't had really a 9 to really support him. So I think it could take away.
We've had this debate so much on the channel that he's basically like a right forward. Like he's not really your natural hold the width kind of.
They basically play inside.
That's why he has a lot of goals.
Both of their wingers kind of play that.
Exactly. That's why Gakpo works really well on the left. He's basically like a.
And I think that's why Jota always works well because he can drop and basically become false 9. But when he's hurt and they have to put Nunez there, you kind of have 3 similar players, which sometimes it don't work.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at some of the games that Mo plays, he attempts at least 7 shots a game. 5, at least 5. There's times I've seen 6 shots in the first half. So.
I mean, obviously, he gets in those positions, and of course, right, he's lethal up front. So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind Mo Salah being 1, but I had him at 2 just because to me, the impact from Rodri is clear. But Salah's having an insane fucking year. I still think Henry's my GOAT. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If Salah does go on to win this season, if he wins both, if he wins Prem and Champions League, maybe I'll concede. But I don't know. We'll see what happens in the second half of the season.
I don't think how many titles does Henry have?
Does Henry have 3 or 4?
3
leagues.
No, 4.
4.
4. He has 4.
Yeah, he needs 3 at least to really push the.
Yeah, but you get 2 Champions Leagues. You start.
And plus, one of his titles is COVID as well. Doesn't really count. So,
bro, they were smacking the shit out of everybody before COVID.
Still, COVID. They needed a pandemic to push it over the line. No.
They were free and clear.
They needed a pandemic to push over the line.
If they had bottled that, it would have been actually insane. I know some Liverpool fans are going to say that COVID doesn't matter. It's interesting. It's an interesting shout. But he is now approaching historical territory when it comes to Premier League attackers. So, yeah, man, let us know in the comments down below how you feel, what your top 5 looked like, if it looked anywhere close to ours, man.
It looks like Austin. Please unsubscribe and just do
it. Please don't unsubscribe because of Austin. I swear to God, he's got good takes. All right, I swear. All right, man. Let's go honorable mentions really fast. I got some doozies here that we can kind of go through. And,
let's first start off with this Max shot that he says that like is crazy.
Yeah,
I think I know.
Yeah. Go ahead. Say it again.
Isak.
Alexander Isak. I also had him on my list.
I would sacrifice him for my home.
There's two actually, Isak and Ollie Watkins. Both of them should be in the top 10.
See, I thought about Ollie Watkins. The reason why I left him out is that he's just done nothing the second half of the season.
He has 12 goal contributions this season already.
Are they? Yeah. They're not allowed them or not in the league though.
Yes, they are.
I don't know how many he has in the league, to be honest. To be fair, Ollie Watkins, maybe it's the expectation, but he has dropped off from last season. Like he really has.
Well, I feel like the team has
got
that's because of what I've said in the beginning of the season. When it comes to Champions League, there's always going to be a drop off for these teams that are playing their first time in the Champions League.
Yeah. That happens all of them.
That happens all the time. But he's honestly one of the main reasons why they're still top 6 right now in the Prem. Yeah, if it wasn't for Ollie Watkins, it would be mid-table right now.
He's a very
There's been no contribution from Bailey. Morgan Rogers just finally showing up. Like he's been great, but he hasn't contributed in any way. What's his name? Scottish man. Gone. Hasn't done shit this year. McGinn. And then Doran has some goals coming off the bench. Other than that, there's been no other contributions other than Ollie Watkins.
I think he's a very quiet striker, and what I mean, you just don't think about him, but he'll just slowly inch up. He had how many goals last season? 18. He's got 12 goals. He's just kind of quiet. He's not going to go out there and score hatties, but it'll just. I don't know. He's just very quiet.
But you guys realize this is Austin's Max's Watkins shout is Austin's version of Mbumo. That's basically the exact argument.
Exactly. If you want to have Watkins 10th or 9th, that wouldn't be crazy at all.
But no, because
Watkins they had the exact same GA this season actually too.
But what did he have at the end of?
At the end of last year, I don't know what Mbumo's GA was. I don't know for the second half of the season.
Well, Mbumo was hurt for 2 months.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it was. It probably didn't match. Ollie Watkins had a crazy career year in 23-24. And that's why Villa again made that fight for top 4, got Spurs out, although Spurs are Spursy. And sure, I'll give him benefit of that doubt for sure. But Duran has also been very impactful. I think you also have to factor in moments. The GA is there for Watkins, but Duran actually has the moments for Villa. He's got the big goals and those big moments to either keep them alive in Europe or to get a crucial point in the league when they need to still be fighting for top 4, top 6. Watkins has the GA. It just feels kind of like an Mbumo shout.
You have to compare to the other players on this list too. Has had a better year than the likes of Odegaard, Saliba, Saka, Foden, Haaland.
He had a better year than.
To me, Isak is clear. Isak was my 10 and my number 10 spot. And I want him at Arsenal so fucking bad, bro. So bad. I would do disgusting things.
Tell Arsenal to put the money where everyone's mouth is.
Bro, first off, Newcastle, they're gonna extort whoever comes for Isak.
120 million, pay up.
Fuck no, no way. Save it for the summer. Cool, I'm down. Let's make a big splash in the summer. But there's no one that's gonna get Isak this summer. That doesn't matter who you are. They're gonna charge an arm and a leg for him. So
I think
and Mbumo probably too. To be honest,
I think Isak's the best number 9 in the Prem.
Right now, I would definitely say so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Over guys like Holland. City fans, I'm sure you'd love to hear that. Let us know in the comments down below what you think.
I also think he's a way more versatile player than Holland is. Way more. Holland's just your traditional 9. Isak.
But both their jobs are the same, right? So
both their jobs are the same, but
you just get way more out of
you get more. You get way more.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I think the versatility shout only comes in when you talk about midfielders. I think when it comes to wingers and strikers, that versatility shout is just a bit far fetched because the role of the front 3 is so much simpler than the role of a midfield 3, for instance. So it's like you're saying
it just depends on how you play. If it's Arsenal, Isak is infinitely better, in my opinion, than Haaland. Just infinite. In my opinion, in Arsenal's system, he lines up way better because of what he can do. So and because of how just the movement between the wingers and the attackers, it's all different. But yeah, straight up comparison.
I will say Isak scored 12 goals this season. 8 of them have been in December.
Yeah, dude, he's got a mad one those past 2 months.
That's insane.
That price tag has shot up 20 million a week.
Yeah.
Like legitimately. Like it's crazy.
It has been like
quiet January, everything will bounce back down.
Yeah,
like
we'll see. I kind of hope he has a shitty half of the season and the second half, so that way Arsenal get a cut rate deal for him. But we'll find out. Some other interesting shouts. Kevin De Bruyne was mentioned.
The motherfucker's never played, man. I don't even know why Pep doesn't play him now. His contract expiring. I don't know what it is.
That was a Max shout. We also had Dominic Solanke as a top 10 player.
That was definitely. I don't have that.
That was an Austin shout. That was an Austin shout.
He's been like, it's not only been stats. Like to me, Spurs haven't been great. A lot of that's been defense, but like he's been consistent. Like
guys, another interesting shout, really quick, to keep going from this. Dwight McNeil.
Yes.
Also an Austin show.
Oh, I should have put him on my list. I should DM me.
I was gonna say, Hoffman didn't put that, but Hoffman agrees with it.
Yeah.
I told you.
Austin DM me say, "Yo, I'm putting McNeil on my list."
Hold on. Where'd you put McNeil, Austin? Where'd you put McNeil?
Ninth.
Oh, we could have got him in top 10.
I will say, I didn't do any more honorable mentions, but another good shout would be Gvardiol.
I
thought about him.
He's been one of the more consistent City players since this entire year, especially the second half of the year. Yeah. Especially the second half of the year. I think at one point he was the only one scoring.
Yeah, fair. Interesting shout that I thought somebody was going to have, but nobody really did, in my opinion. And it's kind of like an eye test shout for me. But Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, has been massive for Liverpool in a lot of different ways.
Second half of the season.
But he also, keep in mind, right? Like, bro, he was being asked to play midfield for Liverpool. He was asked to be playing midfield, bro. The touches he was getting was nowhere near what it was at right back. When Slot put him back into that role that we all know he can play better than most in the world, bro, he's been lights out for Liverpool. I just think that context is super important.
If you had him like 10th or 9th, I would not be bad whatsoever. I just feel like
I was battling between him and Isak a little bit, but I ended up going Isak. It was
anybody think about putting Kuna in?
No. That's so recency bias.
Where did you have Cunha? Where'd you have Cunha?
I had him 7th, but
oh my god!
Like here's my thing.
He's just you just picked the players that no one would actually ever put in your top 10.
They were
Cunha's like a top 25 probably for me.
Yeah, like they're terrible, but he's like by far their best player. Like if they lost him, they get relegated.
That's the same. That's the same thing with Jimmy Vardy.
16 goals this calendar year.
And he's top 3 in the league in away goals since last season. So there's definitely like a decent shout somewhere in there. But I think the most important piece, we said it a couple times in the show, you just gotta like compare it to the rest of the list. And
he would be a great shout if we did top 10 players 2024 players that clubs are not in the top 10. He'd be a great shout for that.
Top 10 outside of the big
six or whatever. Him with Chris Wood.
And
that's what Austin thought we were doing. That's what we were doing. And Boomo, Hongmin,
yeah, clip that. But I mean, he's got like, and I really looked at like stats and like where they kind of, and I went like a little. I mean, I didn't go a little off the wall. I went really off the wall. But it's like his successful dribbles are off the chain, like off the charts, just this season. And then like he's won an absurd amount of fouls. Like it's like little things like that. It's not really goals and assists, but it's little things like that.
Last pick for Austin at number 10 was
I did have
James Maddison.
Yeah, I kind of just stuck him in there.
He wants him at Leicester back so bad, bro.
I do.
I can tell.
I mean, like I said with Son, they didn't have it 9. Like I don't with Richarlison up front, he's like top 10 in key passes and like progressive passes. Like,
but you had Dwight McNeil ahead of him.
I did because Dwight McNeil's
Dwight McNeil's
awesome.
better, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwight McNeil's got an insane amount of crosses, and
if I'm the England manager, if I'm Thomas Tuchel, the first name on my team on my squad list would be Dwight McNeil.
Shut the fuck up. That would not be the first name on your
list. It would be. If I'm like, all right, breaking the squad, or it's squad's due tomorrow, all right, get Dwight McNeil's name on the list.
McNeil in first, and then we'll figure out the rest of the
okay, Saka, Palmer, Bellingham, okay. Make sure Dwight McNeil's
first. Can you imagine, bro, a team of those ballers for England, and then you see McNeil out there somewhere like, who the hell is this, bro?
Cracking player. I'd get him. If I was the Welsh manager, I'd get Harry Wilson be the first name on my list.
England did pick, who was it? Who's the old Arsenal guy broke his leg? Jack Wilshere.
Jack Wilshere.
He drink water at the Euro 2016, which is one of the craziest shouts.
Fair enough.
That's why they went out to Iceland.
Again, I don't know if anybody's like. Hold on. Last question before we wrap the show up. Who are you taking, Hafid? Cunha or McNeil?
For who?
In general,
this is better
as a player.
I think a player is Cunha.
It's
But
tough,
McNeil's still a baller though.
He's just vibes. I got it, bro.
Not vibes. He's a cracking player.
McNeil does a lot of dirty work, like a lot of not on the stat sheet, and like that's
so
hard.
Everyone gotta say their list in order, so I know. So I think everyone should know. So I had Rodri first, then Mo Salah, then Palmer, Van Dijk, Saka, Haaland, Foden, Odegaard, Saliba, and then Heung-min Son. That was my list.
I'll just go last. You'll go.
Okay, I'll go really quick. Mine is Rodri, Salah, Saka, Palmer, Van Dijk. Saliba, Van Dijk, Haaland, Foden, Odegaard, and Isak.
Okay.
Mine's Rodri, Salah, Foden, Saka, Haaland, Palmer, Saliba. Actually, this is on this bottom part's still messed up. I went to have Isaac in front of KDB, but Isak, KDB, Ali Watkins.
I went Salah, Saka. Yeah, speaking of rug, Salah, Saka, Palmer, Haaland, Son, Embuemo, Kuna, McNeil, Madison, and James Justin. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not James Justin. There's no way.
I would say Isak has 24 goals this calendar year, something like that.
Hey, Kuna is 22, and y'all are knocking him.
Max, why'd you put KDB? Well, was just because on quality?
Quality. He played well. Obviously, he missed pretty much the first half of the season, but when he did come back and play, there was obviously still a little bit of KDB that we saw. It just completely dropped off when Rodri went down, and it affected. I feel like it just affected the whole squad.
I just don't think the motherfucker's just not playing. I don't know why Pep is not playing him at all.
He's been playing. He's
just on the bench though. He doesn't start.
He started against us.
He started against Leicester.
But like so the first half of the season, the year he was injured, he came back against Newcastle. Him and Oscar Bob had their moment. Mm-hmm. Then got injured again. Then he started like the last 2 months. Went to the Euros, came back, injured the first like 2-3 months. Came back, has been on the bench for like a month and a half, 2 months straight, and then now it's starting. It's just too inconsistent for me to. I think we're going based on just sheer quality and sheer performances when they play. He can make the top 10. But
even then, I think it's dicey. Like even then, it's still debatable.
I don't care.
I think he's
everybody rates players differently. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I
just wanted to hear Max's perspective.
He's had to do a little bit like Rodri work, like just doing what he does, just because he's not there, and I think that's hurt him a little bit. Like he's had to drop deeper than he normally would.
Sure.
So I think that's hurt him a little bit. He's had to play a little differently.
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody rates their players differently, but I'm curious again for everybody at home tuning in. Let us know what your top 10 looks like below, man. Or I mean, at a minimum, don't judge us too harshly on Austin's top 10.
We're very lucky that Ahmad didn't score today because this one.
Bro, no, okay, well, that's it. We're done. We're done with the show. This is it's over. He's definitely.
Wait, I haven't gotten to my Danny Ward.
Like, please stop.
All right, we're gonna call it there, guys. It's been a fantastic show. Again, happy New Year to everybody. When you guys tune into this episode, it's be the final day of 2024, so we thought it only fit to release our top 10 Premier League players ranked from 1 to 10 for the calendar year of 2024. If you enjoyed it, like the video down below, subscribe to Goals TV. Plenty more Premier League content coming after the new year. Got Game Week 20 already on the horizon. More predictions coming to the channel, so stay tuned for that. From everybody here at Yanks of the Roundtable, my name's Jose. That's Hafid. That's Austin. That's Max. We'll catch you guys next time.